Alright, hello, welcome back to a new video on this channel. Now, one of the very big pain points for a lot of people is the English language test. When they're applying for the student visa or are applying for their postgraduate work visa when you finish your studies, or even PR. Because see, when you're doing your English test for your student visa, the minimum requirement needed is pretty low. I think it is 6 band each now. But when you're applying for your post-study work visa, which is your 485 or your PR, it is very important that you get more than 8 or more than 8 band in each reading, writing, listening, speaking. Now, I recently got a 90 overall in PTE with more than 8 in each and every vertical that I previously mentioned. So I thought, why not make a video, share the top tips and tricks that I used, particularly for a lot of people from South Asia, so India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, etc., Sri Lanka as well, which helped me score obviously a 90 overall and get those maximum points for my PR. So very briefly, we'll talk about what the test looks like. I'll briefly go through it. As I said, there are 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And generally, there are 2 tests that you can opt for, IELTS or PTE. Generally, I have preferred PTE throughout my student journey. I only gave IELTS in the start because I didn't know of PTE. But when I got to know about PTE, I just went with it. All of my friends have gone with PTE because, one, same cost for both IELTS and PTE. Second, it's computer based and not human based. Yes, there's a computer based test in IELTS as well, but I'll still go for PTE. Third, you get your results really quick, sometimes in even hours after you've given the test. But generally what they say is 3 business days, whereas IELTS, if you take the human based one, it's around 13 to 15 working days, which can be a lot and a lot of tension because if you don't score more than 8 bands in each, or more than 79 in each, if I talk about it in PTE language, you need to basically sit for the test again so that you can get those maximum points for your PR. And yeah, so that is why I generally prefer PTE. But yeah, the general structure is it's 2 hours long. Also, IELTS is also 2 hours 45 minutes long, whereas PTE is only 2 hours long. It's an integrated exam, so it's not like these are the set of questions that are for speaking, these are the set of questions for listening. Each and every vertical is judged, is marked on while you're going through the different sections. And in this video, we'll go through the different sections and I'll give my top tips for each and every section. Just quick 1 to 2 tips that will help you with the same. Now, if you're getting into speaking, there are 5 sets of questions that you can get. One is read aloud, second is repeat sentence, third is describe image, fourth is retell lecture, fifth is short Q&A. Going into read aloud, my top tips for you is you'll get about 5 to 7 questions. You'll have 35 seconds for you to prepare to read the passage. One thing for Indians, accent doesn't matter. We generally have a very thick accent, so accent doesn't matter. Second tip for you is try not to read too fast or not too loud, because one thing is that it's a computer based system. It's the AI is checking your answer. So try not to be too fast. Be very clear in what you're saying, and especially for people from India, pronounce the words with ED and S really clearly. So if it is prepared, prepared, snacks, snacks. So make sure that you are emphasizing on the last bit of it for the ED and S words. Another tip, read numbers fully. So if it's 2025, so 2025, you say 2025, not 2025. If it's 30K, you say 30,000. Last and the most important tip, if you miss words or make mistakes, do not repeat it. Keep going, because as I said, it's AI based, right? You know, a sentence wherein it says, oh, for today, the temperature is 32 degrees Celsius, and you missed today. You can just omit that word and keep going so that you're as fluent, your pronunciation is as good as possible. Second, repeat sentence. So basically in this section, what will happen is that you will hear a sentence and then you have to speak the sentence according to your memory. First tip there, if you don't remember everything, it's okay. As I said, it's a computer based system and AI checks it. So if If the whole content is not correct, it's okay as long as the pronunciation and the fluency is on point. Speak what you remember fully and fluently. Say something at the end if you do not remember. So let's say if it says, today is a very hot day, it is 32 degrees Celsius. Let's say if you forget, what the number was. Today is a very hot day and it is very sunny outside. You can do that because the pronunciation is on point, the fluency is on point. Do not stay silent if you do not remember anything. Just complete the sentence with what you feel is appropriate in that sentence. Third one, describe image. Now this can be daunting. It might have one or two questions where they will show you a graph, a picture, and then you have to describe what the image looks like. As of June 2025, please do not use any templates because they have been banned. If you keep using a template, the AI will detect it and you will get 0 marks. And with how PR and everything works is that even if you do not get more than 79 in just one vertical, you won't get the full points. So you need to make sure that you're acing each and every section, right? So describe the image, talk about the image as relevantly as possible. As I said, the pronunciation should be on point. So let's say if it's a bar graph, you can say that the given image that is represented is a bar graph which on x-axis represents the population, on y-axis represents the number of people that have houses. So you keep going on and on and on like that. You generally have 40 seconds to speak, but even if you speak for 30-35 seconds, it's completely all right. Talk about, x-axis, y-axis if it's a graph, highest, lowest, smallest, increasing, decreasing. So let's say if the high net worth individuals have penthouses and, bungalows, whereas the middle class only have 2 BHK flats. You can even say all of that, but as long as you're fluent, as long as the pronunciation is on point. When you book your PTE exam, there's a smart prep portal on PTE's website as well. Make sure you leverage that and you give the practice test before going for the PTE exam. Another thing with describe image, there are a lot of YouTube channels where they won't give you a template, but they can give you a rough structure on what you can speak about. So, as I said, the given image is dash, x-axis dash. So it can give you starting points for all of these. So if you want to look at some YouTube videos, go for it. But if any video mentions a template, skip it. Next, retell lecture. So again, 1 to 2 questions. You have 10 seconds to prepare and 35 seconds to speak. What will happen here is that you'll be basically given a lecture, 20-30 second lecture, and you have to make notes. So they'll give you a notepad and a pen. So make sure that you're making proper notes when you're hearing that lecture. But again, you have to multitask a little bit. So if you hear something, just write the keyword of it and then go back to listening. So you have to multitask a little bit. Very important for you to note 4 to 5 key points and the holistic and the main topic of the lecture. Again, do not use a template, but there is a structure that can be used. Fifth is like a short Q&A. You really can't practice for this. It's like general knowledge questions. For example, like what I got recently was, and something that I didn't know again, the content doesn't matter. So if it's not the right answer, if you do not know the answer, it's okay. Just repeat a keyword in the same question. They asked me what like a group of a particular animals is called, and I didn't know. So I just said herd because that's the most, that's something that I knew of, something in that domain. So yeah, just say that. So let's say if they ask you what's the 5th wonder of the world, you can just say Taj Mahal, right? Same domain. Or if you do not know anything about it, just say wonder and come out. You can do that as well. Now, secondly, going on to writing. 2 types of questions here. One, summarizing written text, and second is essay writing. Summarizing written text, you basically get 10 minutes for it, and you have like the summarized version that you write has to be in 5 to 75 words. Now, what I saw on the Smart Prep portal, on the website, everything, is that if you keep it around 65 to 70, that's the best. There'll be a passage that will be given to you, and you have to summarize the passage in 1 sentence and 1 sentence only. What 1 sentence means is that there can't be like a full stop in between. So there can't be 2 full sentences, it has to be one sentence. So you can, use different connecting words, and therefore, furthermore, you can use your comma. And main thing is that you start with a capital letter in the start, in the beginning. So capital letter in the beginning, and for nouns, so wherever there is a noun, you use a capital letter. If you're using American English, use it throughout. If you're using UK English, use it throughout. Only one full stop and at the end. Proofread once you're done. And again, no template, but there is a structure that you can use. For this one, what the structure looks like is that you can pick up the 3 to 4 most important sentences and join these sentences with those connecting words like your and, comma, furthermore, respectively is also one. So you can do all of those as well. Now, writing essay. Some people get 2 of these, some people get 1. I fortunately got 1. You will basically get 20 minutes to write this, and it's around 200 to 300 words. The topic that I got was that, like, the social media influencers and all of these people, it was basically around social media influence and fame and everything. And the essay that you have to write should be either you disagree with the statement or you agree with the statement. You need to give reasoning, justification with examples, and there should be 4 paragraphs. Again, there is not a template, but what the structure basically looks like is an introduction with something very general about the topic. Like, let's say, for example, what I used was that children from a very young age have started picking up their cameras, their mics, their tripods, and started creating content, wanting to go towards the content creator space. And while that is true, I'm writing this essay with the statement that I disagree with whatever topic, with whatever phrase or whatever statement that was at the start. Then went on to the second paragraph, starting with firstly, using for example in between. Second paragraph was around however, therefore, etc. And then conclusion, you basically reinstate what you said in the first paragraph. Now, third is reading. There are about 4 to 5 different questions that you get in these. You get your drop down blank, which is pretty easy. MCQ is also pretty easy. Reordering paragraph can be a tricky one. Drag and drop blanks is pretty easy as well. And again, there's an MCQ, like a paragraph that you read and you have to answer an MCQ. Talking about the drop down blank, it's basically where you read a passage, you understand the context, you understand the meaning of it, and out of the drop down options, you choose the most appropriate one, eliminate the obvious ones, you choose the most appropriate ones, and you move it to the next blank, and you can come back to it last. Once you're done, try reading the whole sentence with all the options and listen to it, how it sounds. You'll get an idea of it. Now, MCQ, obviously you will be given a passage, but what I was taught in my school days is that you read the question first and then you go back to reading the passage, because you already have a perspective on what the passage is about. So that's a really cool trick for you. Wrong answers have negative marking. So make sure that you're reading the passage twice. You have a bunch of time in the reading section. Although it might look pretty easy, just spend some more time, because sometimes the most easy, comfortable answers might not be correct. Usually, sometimes there are multiple answers that can be correct, but it will be told to you. Alright, reorder paragraphs. So what this means is that there will be one paragraph which will be cut into 3 or 4 different parts, and then it's your responsibility to reorder those parts according to what the paragraph should look like. So they're given to you in a jumbled order. My tip here is for you to first look for general sentence or like independent statements or phrases that are given out, because that might be the first one, because it sets the precedent for the whole paragraph. It sets the context for the whole paragraph. Then each sentence follows the previous sentence. So you basically have to make a story accordingly. After reordering, try reading and see if the sequence makes sense or not, and then go ahead. Alright, the last one, listening. Now there are a bunch of different questions in this one, and in this particular one, time management is pretty crucial. So the first one is how you have to summarize spoken text, as we said. Then MCQs, then there's fill in the blanks, there's highlighting correct summary, MCQs again, select missing word, highlighting incorrect words, and writing from dictation. Let's get into each of them. Going on to the MCQs, this is a little bit different because you will be hearing a particular audio like a lecture. So again, Make sure that you read the questions first and then listen to the audio. There'll be very little time in between for you to do that, but just have a quick glimpse to the questions. Then while you're listening to the audio, make notes. So write down the keywords that you're listening to. So let's say if it's around weather, you write weather. If it's a particular number, you mention the number, because there'll be a big, you'll be given a big file, so you can make different notes. Wrong answer does have negative marking, so make sure you're aware of that. And usually 2 answers are correct. So once the thing is done, once the lecture or once that audio file is done, then you'll have to answer those particular questions. Now, secondly, fill in the blank. What this looks like is that there'll be a paragraph, you'll be hearing the paragraph, but in between, like the audio that you'll be listening to will have some omitted words. So you need to keep your eyes on the screens on the passage, because the audio will have the word, but the paragraph, which is basically a transcript of that audio, will not have some words. Third is highlighting correct summary. So I believe in this one, what will happen is that obviously you're listening to an audio, there'll be a passage with the transcription, but in between there'll be words that the speaker has not spoken. So let's say if it's like, this bottle is blue in color. That's what will be spoken, but in the passage will be, this bottle is red in color. So I need to highlight red because it's the incorrect word that was spoken. Now there's another one, which is select missing word. Some tips in there: look at options before the audio starts. Write down the words, the last few words of the audio, because that might be a hint. And then try saying the options after the last words of the audio. The last one is very, very important. It's writing from dictation. It has pretty high marks. And what I've done during when I was applying for my postgraduate work visa and for my PR, is that I used to close my eyes and listen to the audio. Immediately repeat the words in my head. So let's say if there's a big red book in front of me, I hear that big red book in front of me, big red book. Once I keep repeating that, when I'm typing that out, I can say there's a big red book in front of me. You hear what I mean? So though that is one tip that I have for that. Note taking is not helpful there, because by the time you're putting it on paper, you'll forget it. So may as well type it on the screen, and then if you forget it, again, make it look very natural. Even if you omit a couple of words in between, but the grammar is correct, you'll get good points. So yeah, with that done, I hope that this video added a bit of value. I know my speed ran through different sections, but if you have any questions, if you want to get on a call, feel free to reach out anywhere or in the YouTube comments as well. Make sure you check out the Smart Prep portal on the PTE website and their mock test, as it added a lot of value to me. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next one.